welcome to Real in Films. Guys, thank you very much for giving me the time to talk about the film Rumble Through the Dark. Very intriguing and interesting story to tell here in this film. So I wanted to ask both of you, Graham and Parker, um, what inspired you guys to bring this film to the big screen?
Yeah, well, in part, we really wanted to tell a story that was in the Southern Gothic world, that took place in this sort of area of Mississippi, just because it's such an interesting landscape. There's so much history there. A lot of our favorite books and authors come from that area. And, there's so much music that comes from that area, from the blues, to the great art of like, Tennessee Williams and Faulkner and Cormac McCarthy. No Country for Old Men is one of our favorite films. So we love the art that comes out of this area. And for our second film, we were exploring that, and also we wanted to tell a story that was really about an isolated, singular individual going through his journey, sort of like in Taxi Driver or in Joker or in Drive. There are these great films about these lone wolves, and we really, after our last film, we were craving telling a story about an individual on a very specific journey. And I'd say that in combination with this duality of someone who's so in the darkness and has so much in his past that he's trying to get out from under the weight of, in terms of like his guilt and his regrets. He's trying so hard to get out of that darkness and into the light, and that duality there, and the love between him and his foster mother being the heart of this film. That was just something that it really spoke to us. And it was a hell of a journey, but we're happy we took it.
I wanted to ask, so you guys have worked before together, and now you're working on Rumble Through the Dark. Or well, you already worked on the film. What is the process between you two from the as a director aspect? Because I imagine that certain scenes, one directed it, or certain scenes the other one directed it, or did you both work together in the whole film in general?
Yeah, I don't think we don't really divvy up duties, when we're trying to direct a film. It's not like we try and make it, half the work. And I think that, we really approach stuff, where we both feel prepared to do every job. And then, inevitably we'll kind of just, naturally put someone in the position of maybe Graham's talking with camera department and I'll relay information to production design, or vice versa. There's certain things that we fall into just because like my brother's more technically savvy than I am. So he will deal with, he will talk with our director of photography, more than I will, about actually, maybe what lens we're going to use or how the camera is actually going to move, whether it's a dolly, whether it's a crane. Whereas, I'm usually the one inviting the actors to set and initially blocking the first scene. But honestly, it flips, and, we change things all the time. And I think that, one of the joys of being able to be a co-director is from the very beginning, it's a collaborative effort. So people, we hope when they join on to help us with our film, they realize that, a lot of films are a dictatorship where there's only one person at the top. With us, there's two, so from the very beginning, it's collaborative effort. And I hope that's felt, throughout, the entire cast and crew, because that's definitely how we want to operate.
Something else that I'm starting to realize about our implicit division of labor when we're dealing with actors. My brother's probably a bit better at being a calming presence and sort of, helping actors feel really safe and grounded. That's one of his superpowers, which is so important, to make actors feel comfortable so they can actually, relax and do what comes naturally to them. On the other hand, I think that I sort of get sent in sometimes as the Secretary of War to like really shake things up, or to, just like crank the dial or something like that. So it's funny, like, I know when I'm like, all right, I probably shouldn't be giving this note. Like, I think this is a good note, but I'm not the one to give it.
And a detective show would be the good cop, bad cop routine.
Okay, and I wanted to ask, so there's this one scene that caught my attention. I like one of my favorite genres is action, especially when it's martial arts. So I did notice that in the most I would say the one of the most important scenes that is at the end of the film, there's a lot of like very edited shots. There's close-ups, there's long shots, there's very continuous shots. It is something that you guys wanted to do and to give that feel, as in like, taking that how do you say the word, the experience of other martial arts or fighting films that, like let's say for instance example Jackie Chan, that he uses a lot of like full shots. Is that something that you guys were aiming for this final scene?
Yeah, I think that, the mix, what we wanted to create was something that wasn't, the entire film
Mhm.
hopefully feels gritty. We really want to make a film that you could kind of, you can't sit in a movie theater and taste and smell the film, but we were hoping with our film you kind of can. That's one of the reasons we wanted to shoot it, in August in Mississippi when it was hot as heck. So you could, what you're seeing on screen, the actors were really going through. And I think, with the final fight, we didn't want it to be clean, although there's fights, we love the movie Warrior, we love the movie Gladiator. There's a references for that, our film kind of ending in a modern day kind of Coliseum. But, with ours, we also wanted that chaotic nature, and by switching, camera angles and having that unpredictability, that was one of the style choices we chose to hopefully, achieve that.
Yeah, and we also wanted people to feel like they were part of the audience. I mean, the environment where they have this final fight, I mean, it's super underground, and it's very chaotic. And so we really wanted people to feel like they were actually there, holding on to the chain link, and, so to sort of put people in all the different perspectives of the audience, in the cage, outside of the cage, and just to, to sort of add to, that frenetic energy that felt really important to us.
That's amazing. So I have one final question for both of you. If you could describe this film with one word, how would you describe it?
Grit.
Yeah, I agree. I like grit. Yeah, I was gonna say brutal, but grit's better.
No,
The
thank
brother
you. So I really gotta say, it's for everybody that it's watching us here at Reel In Films, the film will be available on November 3rd in theaters, and hope you guys all enjoy it. And Graham and Parker, thank you very much for your time to speak about Rumble Through the Dark.
Thank you so much. Thanks for
Yeah,
the
thanks.
questions.
Thank you. Bye bye.